So we have to be smart. Hashem gave us brains. Right? Hashem gave us brains. We have to use our brains. You have to be smart. And at the same time, we have to be... Simple is not quite the right word. Because when people say simple, they seem to think that, oh, simple means like a simpleton. Like he doesn't really know so much. When the Torah used the language of tam, Yaakov ish tam, that Jacob was simple, means perfect. Means he went in a way of trusting Hashem, that Hashem is guiding him, and therefore he uses his mind, he uses his seichel. You use your mind, but you also know that your mind has limitations. And you go in a way of simple emunah of Hashem. There's one thing that the Jew has never been accused of. We've been accused of basically everything, which is being too rich, too poor, controlling the banks, not being involved enough in society, running society. But we've never been accused of being stupid. Because, Baruch Hashem, we have brains and we use them. But we have to know that there's a limit to our brains. You have to know there's only a limit to how far your brain can go. And there's another level, which is that we need to have the simpleness of knowing that Hashem runs the world. Hashem is guiding everything. So use your brains, that's number one, but also be aware of the limitations of your brain. And go to a place of knowing that Hashem is guiding everything. And what's happening now in the world with the banks is not a simple thing. And a person has to be intelligent, and he has to know, and these are very, very important things. To use your brain, be very discerning of the investments that you make. This is not financial advice, but it's just knowing, and there's gold coins here and silver coins here on the tables. Hashem is talking to us. There's an element of investing in assets that you could see. And knowing that until Mashiach comes, sadly, people still have Yetzaharas. And therefore there's going to be dishonesty and things happening in the world that are not straight. Rabbis machshavas belevish. There's a lot of different things that a person, all sorts of thoughts that he would do. But atzas Hashem hisakum, but the will of God, that will be the one that will go in the end. Meaning, people have all sorts of funny things that they try to do in this world. To be careful. All sorts of funny and oftentimes crooked things. And be careful. Be careful of that. And therefore use your brain, make intelligent decisions, make good decisions. Invest in things that are solid, that are stable. People think, oh, like my money's just in the bank, like that's where it is. I can go anytime I want. They don't realize that the bank is using your money to do all sorts of things. It's you have a financial advisor here in the shir. Former.
Confidently say that.
Okay, a confident former financial advisor with a bank that we won't mention, and not simple. Not a simple thing. Your money is being used for all sorts of other things. You think it's just, the money's in the bank, like, right? It's just like it's in a vault somewhere, and I can go anytime I want, like Fort Knox, right? I put my money in the vault, and anytime that I want, I could just go and I could make a withdrawal because they're holding it for me in the vault, right? It's there, right? Oh, don't worry, you could trust us. It's there. Well, in the olden days, the good old days, it used to be there. It used to be there. It used to be that, a brief history of money is important. Money in cultures have been used in many, many different ways because it's very, very hard to have a situation where you provide a service and somebody else provides a service, but the services don't meet up. So, give me an example of service that somebody could provide.
Electrical work.
Electrical work. Is that how you pronounce it? Electrical work. Okay, that's an important service to have. Now, give me another service that somebody could provide. Haircuts. Really? That's okay. Good job. Now, I need a haircut. I know it's getting a bit long on the top here. Okay, don't worry. Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan, they say, is a big day. Al Pi Kabbalah, to take a haircut. Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, whose yurtzeit is today, said a big thing about taking haircuts in Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is coming up, my friends, and then another one before Pesach. has to do in different things in Kabbalah, that klippas shouldn't catch on to it, for another time. Now, what seems to be more work? Giving a haircut or doing electrical work? Electrical work. So maybe what you would do is, how many haircuts would equal a electrical work? Romeo, if I'm going to provide electrical work, how many haircuts should you have to give me to provide the electrical work? It depends how much electrical work. But let's say for an hours of electrical work.
That's how long your hair is too.
An hour of electrical work could be like $200 to $500.
Okay, so let's say you did a good amount. So he gives you a voucher for 10 haircuts. Okay? But let's say I need electrical work, but I don't need haircuts. And I've already stored up like 50 haircuts from all this electrical work. I don't take a haircut so often.
Right.
Okay. Oh, so before money. Let's add something else into the mix. Somebody else makes lemonade. Okay, and somebody else provides Uber services. Well, the lemonade's not going to be good for so long. You know, I can only provide so much lemonade. So you can't store it so well. And I may not need some Uber services. Or maybe I need one haircut and all I provide is an Uber service. So I'll take you down the block. Well, I actually need to go to the next town over. Well, I'm sorry. So you could see how it'd be a problem. So there needs to be something called money. Now, what do you want to make money? Money is something that, what would be important to use as money? And I'm reiterating, this is not financial advice. Go speak to your financial advisors or former financial advisors for any official financial advice. This is just general Torah education of, like we mentioned, that one of the Jews' messages to the world is using our mind and thinking things through. So what are the necessary components if you need to have money?
Non-perishable goods.
It has to be non-perishable, because money wouldn't make so much sense if we made money, I don't know, algae. Yeah, that's good.
Portable.
Or hair. That wouldn't be such a... Okay, oh fine, yeah, fine. Let's go to things that would be bad for money. Biodegradable. Corn. Let's make corn, unless you could dry it. Corn.
Leaves.
Really heavy.
Leaves. Okay, leaves are just going to get, or really heavy.
Rocks.
A giant stone. There were certain cultures that had giant stones as their money. Indonesian cultures. Huge, massive stones. And they knew as soon as you got that stone, it was also a prestigious thing. It would be placed on your front lawn. And there wasn't that much money in circulation. You'd have to do a lot of work just to get that one thing. Certain roundish stones, but it would have to be something.
Have it on the front lawn.
What's that?
It's such a flex, have it on the front
Okay,
lawn.
so that was part of the thing, is that you could flex and you could say, oh, look, I got the money. So you would, but it wasn't so efficient, because it wasn't like there was so much money in the system. So you need it to be something which is non-perishable, light enough that you can carry around, because let's say you want to go to the next town over. It has to be something that's transferable. What else does money have to be?
Fungible.
Pardon?
Fungible.
Tangible.
Yeah, divisible. Very good. If you want to make money, bicycles. So I don't need, a haircut is like 10 haircuts for a bicycle. So how do you cut up a bicycle?
Fungible meaning like identical. Like it has to be like, I don't want my gold looking different than your gold. Like I don't want yours being like in the shape.
Something that's standardized, and it also has to be rare. If something is so common, so then it loses its value. Okay, if we make money plastic cups, well, you can make, you don't have much money because everyone has plastic cups. You could just flood the system with plastic cups. No longer is one plastic cup worth so much. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there, my friends. We'll get there. That's where we're all going. So you know what? I've got a great idea. Okay, Hashem put this just in the classroom today. So why don't we use something like this? Okay, these are made out of chocolate. Don't do that either. So in certain ancient cultures, they had certain things like, in Africa, they had beads, like rare-looking beads, shells in certain cultures, rare-looking shells.
Colors, like colorful rocks.
Certain things that could be gemstones that would be beautiful. One thing that was always
Bronze.
was precious metals. Precious metals were always involved in the circulation, because you know what? You want to pass me the gold one? Salt also, because you need salt to live, and it also stores well. Spices also. And they expect the meat perishes.
Silk trade.
Yeah, so certain quality things, but those things can only last for so long, or the moths can get it. You know what this is? I know it's a chocolate, but it's just funny that Hashem put it into the room today. This is gold, okay? AU. This, you could burn it, it could fall out of an airplane, and a fish could eat it. It will stay a piece of gold. Okay, you could reconstitute it. It's an element in the periodic table. Gold is gold. Silver is silver. This never rusts. Gold is very, very special. Gold is used in all sorts of electronics. Gold was used. We gave a whole share on gold a couple of years ago. That gold has not only physical powers but spiritual powers. That Ribono Shel Olam, when he would learn very difficult things, would put gold on the table to get him excited. Gold has always been good.
And the rova.
Pardon?
The gold manure.
Yeah, gold is in the base of Mikdash. They call gold is God's money. Gold has always been money. Now, gold is very, very chashuv. It's one of the rarest things in the world. Maybe next to Bitcoin. Yes?
There was a study done a few years ago saying that if the world were to start over again, that the three metals that they would use to back currency would be gold about 70% of the time, silver 25% of the time, and platinum about 5% of the time.
The math doesn't add up.
Okay, so we see if something has been used for thousands of years as currency, it might indicate, I'm just trying to give you intellectual information, it might indicate that there's something about that substance that Hashem gave us that probably has a value to it, that humanity has recognized as something of value. Okay, and people use this as value. For bigger purchases, it was always gold. For smaller purchases, silver. And you could always weigh it, and you could get a certain amount, and those precious metals, which could also be used, you make a menorah out of silver, you make your Kiddush cups out of silver. There's a beauty to it. Ask, women in general. Gold is gold. Gold doesn't go out of fashion. Gold is beautiful. Gold is jewelry. Gold is precious. Gold is also to medicines to do with gold and silver as well. So there's a certain value. Does it have all the qualities that we're looking for? It's doesn't go anywhere. It's not perishable. It has a value. It's rare. Excellent.
It's fungible. It's just
that you can divide it up, and also you could see if it's something pure. The only thing maybe it was lacking is it's not so easy to transport. It's a bit clanky.
heavy.
Okay? I've got a great idea. Okay? I'm a reliable guy. And you know what? You could trust me. I'm really reliable. I've got a safe, and you could give me all your gold and silver. You could trust me. I'm reliable. Why don't we call this reliable guy, Kenny?
The bank.
Let's call him Kenny and his friend Benny. So Kenny and Benny. So you could trust Kenny's a real reliable guy. He's always been reliable. He was like that kid that would always show up, on time. His lunchbox was always, packed just right. Organized. He always had 4 pencils,
Smart.
Yeah, he had a part in his hair that was just right. Never an alfalfa thing coming up. Kenny was the man. And Kenny, he was like, if people were like the designated driver, it was always Kenny. He was always that guy, guys, I'm not drinking tonight. Kenny, coming around in the clutch again. Love that guy, Kenny. You could trust him. Okay, so Kenny says, and he wants to solve the problem that everyone's walking around with clunky stuff. Don't worry. You're going to give me your money, because this is the money. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to print pieces of paper. But don't worry, the paper are IOUs. It just says that I'm holding on to your money, and the real money, and the paper says that anytime you want, don't worry, anytime you want, you could come and you could trade in the paper for the real money. And it'll make your life so easy, because we'll print different denominations, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. It'll be great. So the real money is with me, and it's good. Okay, everything sounds great. And everyone's happy. They can go around, everyone has money now, you can get haircuts, you could save up this money, your haircut business is doing well, your electrical business is doing well. Everything's going great. Except one summer, Kenny goes away, and he leaves his friend Benny to watch the safe. And not only that, to watch the printing machine. And he tells him, whatever you do, the financial investor in the crowd is smiling. whatever you do, you can only print another dollar as long as somebody puts in one of these into the safe. Kenny, I'm Benny. We're like best boys. We're good. He goes away. Now, Benny's got the keys to the printer
And the safe.
and the safe. So he decides, this paper money stuff is good. Like, it's nice having it around. He starts printing a little bit more than is in the safe. Now, everyone gets excited because there's more money going around, and obviously his boys got a little bit of extra. Money starts flooding the market. So now, for lemonade, does it cost, $1 for lemonade anymore? Is $1 worth as much? No, because everyone's got tons of money. It's not worth so much. And this is called inflation.
This is how the depression happened.
How does the money enter the
Everyone tried to
market?
pull their money out at once.
The money enters the market for different reasons that the printer deems important to put more money into the market.
Isn't this why
Oftentimes wars made more money flood into the market, or other stimulus reasons,
revolution?
or just people who have debt, student debt, and we just, let's just
Create that.
to create debt, or we'll sell, or other countries will take bonds. So all of a sudden there's a lot of debt happening, but as long as everybody doesn't come and take their real money out, then we're good. So far, so good.
Keep about 10%.
Okay? Now, it doesn't sound so good, because if you keep, now in 1971, Nixon took the American dollar completely off the gold standard, and a lot of money started flooding into the market, but without much backing. Which means that there's this idea that something is very, very strong, but what's really giving it its strength? It's not backed on the dollar anymore. So it's a belief in what it is. Okay? Everything we presented today is just using our brains to understand, wow, maybe there's something going on. And maybe then when we put something somewhere, if it's being used for other things, well, we have to just be aware of that. It's not like it's just sitting in Kenny's vault anymore. And if Kenny decides he wants to take off, that we can print, and actually doesn't have relevance. It used to be, you could look at the American dollars. They were vouchers that you could go to the bank and you could trade it in, and they would give you back the real money. Now, you can't do that anymore. You can't go to Fort Knox and say, here's my Benjamin Franklin, can I have $100 worth of gold? They say that it's not, you can't trade that for gold. It's not worth, that's right. It's that we collectively give it value. So this is a bit just educational, just to start asking the question of what is money? We said it's a collective agreement about value, especially if it's not on something tangible. And that it's important for us to use our brains to be thinking. So how is it being used? Where is it going? Where is it being stored? And here a situation where there's banks, this is plural, that are not able to provide their customers with the funds that are left with them, that's very concerning. My heart goes out. Just think about it. People who literally have money, business owners, and they say, we have our pensions, major amounts of money, and you have to feel like human beings here, who, money creates a stability in somebody to be able to give to their family, put food on the table, give a Yerusha, give an inheritance to their children. So they go to the bank, and there's lineups of people saying, why can't we make withdrawals? So a person says, I've got $80,000. A granny says, I've got $80,000 in the bank. That's how I'm going to live. And she tries to make a withdrawal, and she's like, why is my card getting swallowed and nothing's coming out of the bank? Where did it go? I thought it was there. I thought there was something tangible there. Yeah, Romeo?
So I was going to say, but then you also have like electronic, like cloud money now. I guess.
It's because the money, when it goes into the bank, it's not just sitting there. It's going and making investments. It's going. The bank is using your money. The bank is, it's moving around a lot. Now we think that it's just, of course, it's just sitting there like in a vault, like Kenny's vault, but it's not so simple like that. And if the bank makes unwise decisions, then
Giving the wrong person a loan, for example.
I think
the
like in
financial
2008
bubble that
crash, when
popped,
they-
yeah, when the housing market crashed, yeah.
That's
Too-
right.
Too many people bad loans.
So-
Because the government says, we'll pay you back for it, doesn't matter who you give it to.
So the main takeaway is that if decisions are being made that are questionable, it might mean that for decades a person's had money in a bank that he felt was very stable. And in a second, it could be that all of a sudden people can't make their withdrawals. That's a very concerning thing. It's a very concerning thing. And people are going to have to answer a lot of questions for these things. And our hearts go out for people that are in a situation where I'm talking about blue-collar people, who just, I thought that I had all my money there, and why can't I make a withdrawal? So that one of the things that the Jew is always asking people is, Hashem is going to ask you after 120 years, were you honest? Were you honest in business? And we always try to remind people down in this world, in Olam Hazeh, in this world, are you being honest with your business decisions? It's very, very important. That's why any dishonest business things, and that's why what happened so sadly with Madoff, which was one of the worst things, which was one of the horrible things in the world. That is the worst thing possible. The Torah considers that the most horrible of things. That's a chil Hashem, nothing worse. It desecrates Hashem's name in the world. It's so bad. The opposite being true when a person is honest and transparent and straightforward with how he's doing business and how he is making sure that people are held accountable for decisions. That is the greatest thing. And that we're always trying to tell people in this world, are you being honest with your decisions, honest with your business, straightforward? So we're really hoping that we're going to see a resolution to the dishonesty and whatever's happening in this particular situation, which where there's so many unanswered questions here. So we're not saying what happened. We're just trying to create education around the entire topic and daven to Hashem that if there is things that are not upright and straight, in general, within any of the financial markets, that we hope and pray that people should do tshuva, people should really examine their deeds and come forward and say if they did anything wrong. And we're hoping to see tremendous honesty and uprightness for humanity. And we should mamish see the ultimate upright human being come to the world who's going to make sure that everybody is living up to the code of honesty and goodness that is appropriate of all human beings created in the image of God, which is Mashiach. And he's going to come, build the third Beis HaMikdash, and bring tremendous light and blessing and honesty and God consciousness to the world. And then once and for all we'll know that Hashem is the King and He loves us and He wants only good things. And if we hold on to His Torah, we hold on to good values, we're going to see all the blessing that the Torah affords us. We should see that b'mhira v'yameinu. Amen.
Amen, Rav.
Have a wonderful day. Kol Tuv.
Full tov, Rav. Toda rabba, Rav. Koyach.